Hi, I am Jennifer Foxworthy, the founder and CEO of Inspirationally Speaking. I am absolutely excited that I was able to bring the second annual Unstoppable You Women's Conference to Fort Walton Beach, Florida, on Saturday, August 8, 2015, at the Shoreline Church. I had a phenomenal presenter in Pastor Darlene Partin, who gave a fabulous presentation, A Passion for Pillows. Enjoy.
Awesome church that loves me and my husband a lot. We celebrated 10 years as a church, and they sent us on a sabbatical for a month, and we tagged the conference onto it. We were in Australia and just had a great time. So I just got back, and the thing about it is that I'm a bit I'm a little like discombobulated. Like life does not feel normal yet. I've had like jet lag for 8 days. And so even just preparing, I thought it was funny. Everybody has slides. That's like, we always have slides. I have no slides. I have notes. I'm going to speak from some notes. Typically, I use a monitor. So this is just going to be a little bit different this morning, but I'm excited to be here and thankful to have you guys here in our home. And I just want to give a shout out to Thomasina. I don't know where she is. But is she around? There she is. She's got there serving, because that's what Thomasina does. Yes. And Thomasina always makes sure to take care of me whenever she sees me on Sunday morning or anything that we're doing. And I just love her. She's precious. Yes, she has such a great smile. I've never met Jennifer, and it's just great to have Jennifer here. And she's got a great smile. You can tell she's very excited about being here today. I want to thank Dodie. Let me just tell y'all something about Dodie.
Dodie's awesome.
Who can wear colored hair like that and like electric blue pants and just look awesome? She looks amazing. And you know what? This is what we do with each other. Every time me and Dodie see each other, it's like, oh my God, you look so great. And it's like, oh my God, you look so great. I love this song. I love this joy. So we both have a thing for accessories. And so when we had to choose a campus pastor for this campus, when the ones that were here previously, Pastor Nathan and Crystal, they were moving on to go plant a church in it's Ridgeline Church in Asheville, North Carolina. I knew it. Like when we decided to choose Dodie, I knew that she would rep well with the accessories, and so she was a great fit. But besides that, she just loves people. Dodie just loves people. And Kimberly, great job, and I'm so proud of Kimberly, and she's amazing, and she's done my hair some, she does my husband's hair, she comes to our house, and she takes good care of us, so I'm super grateful for that. Let me get some water. Is it Anna?
Anna.
Is it Anna or Anna?
Anna.
Anna.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Anna, let me tell you something. I love your accent. And if I could have those legs of yours and that accent, wow. I just wanted to tell you that while I was on my trip, I turned 50. And when I turned 40, it was all good. Like, I felt fantastic. I think my 40s were the best. There was just some things about my 50th birthday I was not crazy about, but I wanted you to be proud of me as a doctor, that I've been taking care of myself. I have a preventative doctor, and I exercised the whole time I was in Australia, and danced a little. And so you really inspired me, because a lot of the things that you talked about were things that I was really working on my sabbatical. I'm going to take this off because it's loud. But thank you very much. That's good stuff. And you are such a great example of like the former, not that you're real old, but you are older than me, but you don't look older than me. But the former years are going to be greater than, not the former, the latter are going to be greater than the former. And I'm just going to receive that. So anyway, I'm going to have a seat. So I'm going to take this microphone, and Chris, let me know if there's any problems, okay? Yep. All right. I talk a lot with my hands. It's very hard for me to use a handheld because I don't do it very often. So let me just tell you a little bit about myself real quick. My husband and I have been pastoring this church for 10 years, and we were youth pastors before we came here for about 17 years. I have 4 children. I started with 3. I adopted one when we moved here to plant. He was 15 years old. He was in our youth ministry. His name is John. He's awesome. He's 26. I have a 29-year-old son he and his wife are the creative arts pastors here at Shoreline, and pastors, directors, whatever. He will be a pastor because he has got a pastor's heart. He just hasn't been ordained yet. But so anyway, they're here and they're amazing. And I have a 25-year-old daughter that just started college. Thank you very much for the tips. She just started college, even though she's 25, at Hillsong Leadership College in Sydney, Australia. Super pumped about that. And then I have, my youngest is 23, and he is in Nicaragua right now surfing. So I have a very adventurous family. We've done a lot of travel, but that's because we've always dreamed big. I would say that our family's key scripture is that God can do exceedingly abundantly more than you can ask, think, or imagine. But here's the thing, it's according to the power that works within you. Amen. So I just want to say, like what Kimberly was talking about, that really the power of God has to be working in you in order for you to really experience those things. And that's why we really need Jesus. So there you go. So when we came to plant this church, we were looking at homes. I had grown up in the area, both me and my husband grew up in the area, and when we came back, I'm telling you what, real estate was a completely different thing. It was a lot of money to move back here. I didn't know what we were gonna do, but we ended up working out this business deal in a big duplex, and so we lived in one side. Our plan was to live in one side and do vacation rentals on the other side. And so it was about a 6-month process of getting this house. So what we did was we would come up and do some planning. I mean, it shouldn't have taken 6 months, but it ended up being that long. But when we finally closed on the house, like 6 months later, we were free to come and do what we wanted to do. Our pastor released us to come work on our house for a while, even though we were still on staff down there. So we came up and we had 2 weeks of planning that we could get this house ready. So here's what happens. I am just one of those people, like I get a picture in my head and I know what I want and I'm gonna make this thing happen, like I just do. So we walked through the house and I'm like, oh my gosh, I could do this, I could do that, I could do this, I could do that, because there was a lot of work that was gonna have to be done. So we get in the car and we're driving back down to Brevard County. We lived in the Cocoa Beach area. And we're driving back down to Brevard County, and I'm not kidding you, for 7 hours, I took a notebook out and I wrote notes of every single thing that I saw, how this house was gonna look. I'm talking the paint color, the type of furniture that it was, like everything. I had every room themed to like a city in Florida, and so all the furniture and everything kind of went with it. And I had it all written out completely. And every little part. The funny thing is that when I came back, I had a week to get things purchased up here in Fort Walton and Destin, that somehow I ended up getting most of those things purchased, or at least ordered that they would be here when we were able to move and get things started. It was nuts. But then we had to get this house on the rental market really, really quickly if we wanted to make any money on it. And so vacation rentals. So we were going to do vacation rentals, and we already had bookings, but the house was not done. And Eric and a friend of ours, Eric is my husband, a friend of ours they were getting everything ready, and they were doing construction and stuff. And I was doing things like, if they had just painted a wall, I would go and hammer something in and put the picture up. And Eric was like, can you just finish? Can you just wait? Can you just wait until we get like this whole room painted and it dries? I was like, no, like, because I know what it's supposed to look like. I just know exactly what it's supposed to look like. So I'd get in there and get things going. I was hanging shades and stuff when the paint was wet, like when the trim around the windows, and there is paint on the shades, which is typical. This is what I do. If you go in my house, you will see that. Like, I'm anxious to get the finished product out. Like, I want to see it. I know what it looks like. I got it. I can remember one time we were doing a women's night here, and everybody was taking care of all these little details that need to be done. Thank God for people like Thomasina who handles that kind of stuff, because I'm like, finished product. I'm not putting the decor out before they're getting anything else ready. It's what I do because I want to make sure that we get the finished product, that we get to experience like this vision that is in my head. I do this with the Christmas tree. When we put the Christmas tree up at our house, like, I get those lights on as quickly as I can, and if they're like, if I can't get the tree to stand up, we're getting fishing line and I'm tying it to the wall because I'm gonna get a decorator, because I want the house to look good, because I have a vision of what the house is supposed to look like, and I've got to get it done. It can be really frustrating to some people. I just want to make things happen, you know. But I think a lot of times we think it's impatience. Like, doesn't that seem impatient? Like just calm down, Darlene. Let's get this thing. Let's get everything together before you do this. And I'm not sure if any of you guys have ideas like that? Like, do you have, any of you guys deal with that? Like, it could be the Christmas tree, it could be, honestly, it could be a business. Like, you just want to get that thing going, and there's just things that have to be put in place, maybe legally, but like, you'd rather just jump ahead and take care of it and get moving, or it might be, honestly, sometimes this happens to young people because they're just really anxious and passionate to get out there, and there's an opportunity, or sometimes we do that in our relationships. Like, you want to get that thing going, like put a ring on it, let's get this thing going, right? A lot of times we do that with ministry because we want to impact people's lives, and so we want to hurry up and get that thing going. And sometimes you just want to start getting your life going and living in kind of like the potential that you know that you can live in. And I don't know if you guys feel this way, but like, it makes me feel, sometimes I feel bad that I'm not Thomasina because she thinks about all these details, and I'm thinking about like, let's just get it out there so everybody can see it and we can get this thing going and everybody can love it and they can walk in. Like, I'm really particular about the way things look on Sunday morning because I don't want anybody walking in the door until it's ready, so they come in and they get to just experience the vision that I had for it. But what I'm finding as I'm getting older, because I'm 50 now, and I do have lots of gray hair, but you don't see it, but I am 50, is that I really don't think that the problem is impatience. I mean, that might be one of the things that really, it's not impatience. And it's not laziness. I'm not lazy. I'm a hard worker, but I'm not going to work out all those little details. I'm probably not going to be here doing like every bit of setup. Yes, you've got to do that sometimes, but like, that's not what it is. And I'll tell you what it is. I'm a visionary. I'm a visionary. And some of you guys might be visionaries. Actually, we're all visionary to a certain degree, but I'm really, really passionate. Let me tell you what I'm passionate about. I am passionate about creating a synergy by pulling the passions of a lot of people together to impact the world with the love of Jesus through his church. Well, that's a good thing because I'm a pastor, so I should, right? I know that you guys probably have your own vision. There's things that you love. There's things that you're excited about. There's potential that you guys see. But what happens to me is when I get an idea or I'm inspired by something, I want to empower some people in our church, I'll just start rolling. I got to talk about it. So I'll get with my good friends and we'll start talking about it. And I have one of my girlfriends, like, if you know me and you hang out with me, we're going to talk about church. And it's not necessarily work, because we have to take a break. We have to have a Sabbath. And Sabbath, we could get into Sabbath. I'm not even going to do that. But we really do have to have a bit of a break. But you know what? That's just who I am. That's part of who, it's just my passion. I love the church. I really believe that the church is the most effective and intentional activator of people's potential that there is. And why is that? Because this is where, like, this is where God's people are, and this is where God is, and this is what he does in our lives. And he shows us who we are, and he's the one to put those passions there, and then you've got people around you that help fire that up. So I love the church. Let me get some water. I have not been sleeping though, Dr. Anna. Actually, I have slept okay the last couple of nights, but it feels like I've been having jet lag for, I don't know, for a week, like I said, 8 days. Let me see where I'm at. Okay, so the passions that we have, I want you guys to think about it. They're kind of like the pillows. Like, if we buy a couch for Shoreline, there's pillows that I have bought with it, and I want them out right, I mean, when the plastic wrap comes off, the pillows are on. I love it. I'm passionate about like the decor and the way things look. You know what it makes me think of? I don't know if you guys remember, you probably have to be a little bit older like me. When you go to a department store, and if they do this now, let me know, but they still do this, but have you ever been to a department store where you go in and there's the bedding section, and they have these beds and almost like these little vignettes of like a master bed, and there's curtains behind it, and there's the 50,000 pillows that are on the bed, and I just walk in and I'm like, oh my God, like, I just love that setting. It's so gorgeous, like, I have to have that. And so I go over and I'm like, oh my God, like, I just want to get in this bed. But then you go over to the bed and you actually look at it, and it's a midget bed. Have you ever noticed this? You know what I'm talking about? You guys remember this? It's like cardboard, it's a midget bed. Here's the thing. Passion is a really important thing for your vision. You have to have passion for your vision, but nobody wants their dreams built on a midget bed, right? Like, you can't do that. Your dreams and passions cannot be built on a midget bed. You really have to have something substantial. There has to be something substantial there. And you can't be unstoppable if all there is vision and passion. I love you. I do not want to rain on anybody's parade. I'm an extremely passionate person. I might be one of the most passionate people in the entire room. But the thing about passion is that passion will drive. It sometimes drives you, and it's okay, but if all you're doing is driving, there could be a problem. So here's a great verse. This is an answer to all of the problems here. This is in Proverbs 24, verses 3 through 4. It says, it takes wisdom to build a house and understanding to set it on a firm foundation. It takes knowledge to furnish its rooms with fine furniture and beautiful draperies. That's good stuff, y'all. Okay, passion cannot supersede wisdom. It can't. And this is a really great version. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the Passion version before, but this is the Passion version of this verse. It says, wise people are builders. They build families, businesses, communities, and through intelligence and insight, their enterprises are established and endure. Because of their skilled leadership, the hearts of people are filled with the treasures of wisdom, the pleasures of spiritual wealth. That's good. Like that? That's a good verse. That's the Passion translation. So here's the thing, is a visionary, and remember, we're all visionary. I mean, everybody, you're a visionary when it comes to decorating your house, as simple as that is. You might be a visionary, if you have children, you're a visionary. Because you've got a vision for those kids, right? You've got something going on. Like you know there's an end in mind that you have. And that end in mind is really, really important. But a visionary that isn't a builder is just a dreamer. A visionary that isn't a builder is just a dreamer. Let me give you guys the definition of passion. Passion is a compelling enthusiasm or desire for something. It is so valuable because it is a great motivator. This is what passion does. Passion drives you to get the understanding of what you want and to seek the knowledge to complete the finished product. Passion is usually, it's tied to your gifts, your talents, and your abilities. Passion is that awesome smile that Kimberly gives us, actually, that Jennifer gives us. I love her smile. It's the energy, okay? It's the thing that causes you to take risks. It gets you to move, take action. It's the thing that motivates you to put things in place. It's like fuel. Passion is like fuel. But wisdom builds. Wisdom is strength. Wisdom is character. Wisdom sustains. Wisdom brings legacy. It leaves a legacy. And wisdom has the power to transform. So here's the thing, too, is that wisdom isn't a gift. Like, passion's a gift. It's just something that happens, like, when you recognize your strengths or your desires. So passion comes. That's just kind of a given. It's just like given to you, but wisdom is not. It's given by God, but it's built. It's something that has to be built. So passion drives you, but wisdom is the thing that sustains you. Now, I prayed about this message when I was in Australia. We were driving an RV, and I was like, Lord, I really want to have a message that transforms. Because what I could do is, you know what, my passion is I love to communicate. I'm a talker. I was always in trouble in school for talking. I can't even tell you how many times I was in detention solely for talking at Meg's middle school. I'm not kidding you. Like, I got in trouble all the time for that. But I didn't pray about being a good communicator this morning, because really I'm not in my normal zone. It's okay. I'm still a little jet lagged. I'm sitting here. I don't have my slides. I don't have my monitor. All that is good. But really what I prayed about is that what I would bring you today would be transformational. And so you got to tap into wisdom for that. And I'm still at it. I think the older that you get, the more you realize you need wisdom. Sometimes the younger you are, even if you're younger in a business, or it doesn't even have to be age. And believe me, I love young people. I was a youth pastor for 18 years, so I love young people. I still on the inside feel like I'm 23, but I know that I'm not. I'm seeing that, but it's all good. But what was I going to say? Oh, wisdom. Wisdom is the thing. I don't even remember what I was going to say. I don't know. Where was I going with that, Jody?
It was fascinating.
Was it fascinating? Oh, okay, I'm tired. I was telling you that I prayed about this message, and really what I want it to be transformational. But you know what? That really comes from the Holy Spirit, for one.
Amen.
But there's just something about it when people get a little bit of wisdom. There really is. So here's the thing. Passion is the bedspread and the pillows. Like, it's the beautiful bedspread and the pillows and the draperies and all that stuff. It's really, really great. But you know what? If you have a midget bed, like, nobody can sit on it.
Amen.
Nobody can sleep in that bed.
Amen.
Okay? So wisdom is the bed. And we need both. Because if you look at that verse, it talks about how wisdom builds the house, but then, like, knowledge and understanding, fill it with fine furniture and draperies and beautiful things. God's all about that. But what I want to do today is I want to give you 4 things that you need to make the bed of wisdom. You guys ready?
Yes.
All these are P's, so you're going to remember them pretty well. Number 1 is purpose. You have to have purpose. Now, what purpose is, it's not passion. Purpose and passion are 2 different things. Purpose is the why behind your passion. It's the why behind your passion. Is your passion just passion because it's something you want or something you want to do, or it's just something you like? That's okay, but you really need a purpose behind it. The purpose isn't what you like to do. There's a purpose behind it. And here are some things that I want you to understand about purpose. Purpose will touch your soul, it will touch your spirit and your body. So here's some great indicators. If you have a pen, you should write these down because it's good. Your passions, first off, are indicators of your purpose, but they're not the sole indicator. They are your soul, but they're not the only indicator, okay? Your spirit. The indicators in your spirit are like those God whispers that you have. Maybe there's a couple of verses that you have that you cannot get away from. And I think that Kimberly, like, obviously that's a big one for her, is fear. So maybe it would be, boldness or courage. So you're going to look at those things and start to look at some of your life verses and go, okay, what are some of my life verses? Like, what are the things that always stick out? Like I told you guys, Ephesians 3:20, that God can do exceedingly abundantly more. I mean, that has been, I'm telling you, you see that lived out in my family's life because it's just part of who we are. It's part of our purpose. It's our God purpose. It's what God's called us to. And then body. Body is your talents and your abilities and your experiences. Here's the thing. Some of you might want to be, I'm just assuming that most of you girls are church girls. If you're not, I think that this can be transferable in an area of life for you. But let's say you want to be a worship leader and you want to sing. But honestly, if you're talented in your abilities, you can say God told you all you want. But seriously, if you do not have a voice to sing or something or can play an instrument, you can try and you can get better. But it might not be actually part of the whole purpose and package. You're going to do best when you really hone in on what your talents and your abilities are and your personal experiences. So what I want you to do is you're going to take those things and you're going to write them out. You're going to start to look at the threads that go through all of those, spirit, soul, and body. Okay, those are all indicators. That's going to help you define your purpose. And here's some questions that you can ask about your purpose. What does it give me? What does my purpose give me? And then the other question you need to ask is, what is my purpose going to give others? Because our purpose is ultimately for other people.
Amen.
Okay, let me tell you this. If you have passion without a purpose, here's the warning signs. You ready? The warning sign is that you're going to be striving. You're going to be working really, really hard to try to make something happen because your passion and your purpose they're not aligned. So you want to make sure those things are aligned. If you notice that you're striving, it's no big deal. Go back to your purpose and start looking at what is it here that is really kind of out of sync. This just doesn't fit. Now what I want to do, let me tell you this, passion plus purpose, what it will give you is you'll come alive. You will just absolutely come alive and you'll have fulfillment. And other people will be fulfilled as well. Now I'm going to give you a resource because this is what pastors do. There is a really great book if you want to research a little bit more about purpose and finding your purpose, discovering your purpose. There's a book called My Ideal. You can get it online. You can't get it in a bookstore. You can't get it on Amazon. But if you will Google Tracy Lilly, it might be at tracylilly.com, Lilley. My Ideal is the name of the book. It's a wonderful you can do it in 6 weeks. It's 6 chapters. You can do it in a day if you want. But it's a great book that will help you really define your vision and your purpose. It'll help you a lot. Does that help anybody?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a Great book.
It is. It is. Okay. Number 2 is process. There's a process. Time is on your side. And my purpose is to activate other people's potential. So if that means I'm here on stage, awesome. If it means I'm cleaning toilets, then that's what I'm doing. Because guess what? I used to be the janitor. The last church I was at, I was the janitor for 3 years. I taught 5-year-olds for like 5 years. I was on the worship team for about 15 years. I played an instrument. I was an instrumentalist and a vocalist. I was a greeter. I started an inner city outreach. Me and my husband were like surfer sailors. We started an inner city outreach doing basketball. Like, you do what has to be done. Like, that's just part of the process. Like, what's in your hand? You just do whatever it is that needs to be done at the moment. I was an office manager. Don't laugh, Dodie. I'm a good start. I'm a visionary. I know what things need to look like. I got those cabinets all ready, but boy, when I got all that stuff in order, I was ready to move on to the next vision. So I was an office manager. When we started Shoreline Church, I've done children, I've done youth, obviously. I've done setup, tear. I mean, I've done everything. I've done it all, but it's all part of the process. And it actually helps me be and have the character and maybe the understanding of what other people are doing that are serving alongside me, helps me understand what they're all doing. So I clean the toilets. It's good. And I'll go clean them with you again. It's part of that process. It makes me who I am. And then the last thing is to be present in the current season. And honestly, that goes with it. Like, what does God put in your hand right now? Like, you might have a vision to have a business or to see your kid, like, go to Harvard. But, like, if they're 5, like, what do you need to be doing right now? And not always just with that end in mind, but learning to really live in the moment. There's a great verse here. This is in Matthew 25. I got to scroll down to find this. Is that it? This is what you need to do. This is such a great verse. Steep your life in God reality, God initiative, God provisions. Don't worry about missing out. You'll find all your everyday human concerns will be met, including getting to that end. Just go ahead and steep your life in what God's put in your hand at the moment. Okay, the next one. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's what I want to ask you. Here's the question. What's in your hand right now? I want you to think about what is in my hand right now. Like, I know what the end is that I want, but what's in my hand right now? Because if you take passion and you don't have a process, here's what's going to happen. You're going to feel entitled. That's the warning sign. If you're starting to be anxious because you feel like you should be somewhere farther along and you should have a title or you should have a position and you're seeking position, you probably need to go back and look that there's maybe a little bit more processing that needs to happen. And it's okay because it's all good. Like, God wants you to be fully cooked.
Yes.
You know, He wants you to be fully cooked. So passion plus the process for you personally is contentment. When you can just grab a hold of that process, man, you just learn to be content with where God has you. You'll just enjoy it. I promise you, you'll get so much more out of it. And so will other people, because really that's what we want to do, is transform people's lives, right?
Yes.
Okay, so here's the resource that I want to give you. This is a great book. It's by Alicia Britt Cholet, and this is how you spell that. Her middle name is Britt, I don't know, or maybe her, I don't know, it might be one of her last names, Britt, B-R-I-T-T, I'm sorry. Alicia Britt, B-R-I-T-T, Cholet is C-H-O-L-E. Alicia Britt Cholet. She wrote the book Anonymous. Oh my gosh, such a good book, a life changer. You don't want to miss that one. That will mature you for sure. Number 3 is a plan. And you need to have a plan that's laser focused on your purpose. Okay, so here's some things. Your plan really needs to be something that is going to accomplish your purpose. So this is the framework for the purpose that you have. Like, think about what is it that my purpose is. I want to activate people's potential. So actually the church is a really great place for me to be able to do that, because I get to speak into a lot of people's lives. I get to give them truth from the Bible to help them see their God potential. So it's a great place for me to do that. But then there's also all different avenues that I can do that. It's not just on the stage. There's other ways that I can do that. Also, what's the demographic? Well, you know what? I could be a motivational speaker, or is that what you call it? A motivational or inspirational speaker? I could go do that, but God's called me to the church, so that's not my vehicle. My vehicle is the church and its ministry. So you want to look at that, and that's just for me. You guys take that and use that for you. Make sure you have the right vehicle. Another thing that you need to do in your plan. In order for you to have the right plans, you need to spring clean your life. You need to declutter it, okay? And you need to make some room so that you can hear God. I'm so thankful that I went away for a month. I know not everybody gets the opportunity to do that. I'm very grateful that I got to do that. But I'm telling you what, taking a Saturday, or like Kimberly said, taking some time for yourself, you've got to take some time for yourself. That's another way to declutter, because God will speak to you and show you like where you need to make some changes. So here's the question I'm going to ask you is, what are you saying yes to that you should be saying no? What are you saying yes to that you should be saying no? Because here's what's going to happen. Passion without a good plan is going to make you really busy and ineffective. You're going to get tired. Busy and ineffective. But passion with a plan will bring fruitfulness, not production. There's a difference between fruitfulness and production. Production is, think about a production line. It's like, it just goes on, like you just do the same thing. But fruitfulness is like something that's lasting, and it has a legacy to it when you're fruitful, right? It brings wholeness as well. Fruitfulness is wholeness. So the resource that I want to tell you about on this one stuck out to you, is a book called Rhythms of Grace by Carrie Weems, K-E-R-R-I-W-E-E-M-S, Carrie Weems. It would have been great for me to have slides. I'm really sorry. You know what? If you have any questions about this, you can talk to me later, or we can post them up on maybe the event page or something. I can put these resources on there. And then the last one is number 4 is people. People, you've got to have the right people. Now, if you know anything about the Bible, you know that the Apostle Paul, he had Timothy and Silas. Now, Timothy was somebody who was younger than him, and he was mentoring him. And Silas was like a guy that was like, he did ministry with, okay? So you have to have all 3 of these relationships. You have to have somebody who is like, that you can look up to, somebody that you can relate with, and then somebody that you're pouring into. So the people that you need to have in your life are people that will challenge you. And it's great to have people that will challenge you that you know, but it's also really great to have mentors that you don't know. Like Christine Kane has been mentoring me for about 10 years, and I just have this feeling, I mean, I could be wrong, but I probably ain't going to be hanging out with her. I would really like to be, but it's okay. She mentors me from afar. She has a fantastic podcast every week called Coffee with Chris. So good. It's so good. And so she challenges me. Every time I hear her talk, I'm like, so challenged. And then I have a couple of girlfriends that really challenge me. Like they're farther along than I am. And so when I have questions on kind of what I need to do next and what needs to be developed in my life next, or how do I handle this situation, I give them a call. And then you need people that will change you. And the people that change you a lot of times are the people that you're pouring into. And God teaches you stuff through it. And you know, whether it's a small group or maybe it's some people that you work with, it could be something that you do, like a volunteering thing, like maybe in the community. That's a great opportunity to have yourself changed. And so you've got to have people like that in your life. Then you have to have people that care about you. And this is where grace and truth comes in. We have to have people that I could be completely vulnerable, and if I'm really dealing with some stuff, like my husband drove me crazy on our sabbatical because I was in an RV with him for 4 weeks, and I actually just told somebody for the first time, and now y'all all know, I love him. I mean, my husband and I are best friends, we get along, but seriously, like, I need to sit down and talk to somebody. I thought about it. When I get back, I am calling Dr. Finch, because I can tell him anything. But I was telling my sister last night, because she's a little older than me. Did this happen when you guys got a little older? No. So you got to have somebody that you get that's not going to judge you, that's going to, you're going to be, you know, going to have a lot of grace, but then is also going to speak some truth into your life and say, yeah, like maybe you had a really bad attitude. Like maybe it was you. Maybe you're going through menopause or something. Seriously. Like you need to think about yourself as well. So you got to have those people that will speak both grace and truth. And then you got to have people that cheer you on. I can think of 2 people that cheer me on quite a bit, and they're like fuel, and that is Dodie and Robbie Truax. Like every time I see Robbie, she's a girl that goes to church here in this campus, and I don't even see her that often, but I'm not kidding you. Every time I see her, she's always like, she speaks to my gifts every time. She's always like, I can't wait to hear you speak, Pastor Darlene. I love what you said, da 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 da. And that's not just to puff me up, but it actually is like, thank you for cheering me on, because she understands what I'm called to do. So it just really like empowers me. So here's a question I have for you. What does your relational landscape look like? And what adjustments do you need to make? Because if you have those people in your life, but you have a lot of other people that aren't doing one of those things, you might just want to do a little cleaning there as well. And it doesn't mean that you reject people. It just means that you start prioritizing the people that you are spending time with and how much you're spending time with them. So make sure that you know what your relational landscape looks like and you start making the adjustments you need. Because passion without the right people will make you lonely and dysfunctional. You'll be weird. So, and the other thing is, here's something about being lonely. And this is to speak to any of you that are leaders. If I were to always be striving to be around Christine Kane, who like has, I don't know, 4 worldwide ministries, I think, and nonprofits where she helps like she does stuff with human trafficking and all. Like if I were wanting to be with Christine Kane all the time and I kept striving to kind of be at her level, I would be a lonely person. Because I'm a leader of hundreds right now, maybe thousands, I don't know, to some degree. But she's like a leader of hundreds of thousands. And so you gotta be okay with that, it's okay. But passion with the right people in your life will activate your potential, absolutely. So here's the resource, y'all ready? It's church. Yes. I'm a pastor. It's church. And if you don't have a church home, we would love to have you. We would welcome you here at Shoreline. This is home to us. We would love for it to be your home as well. But make sure that you're involved in a church home. And I'm just going to say this because I'm a pastor and I can't. I don't think that church hopping is a healthy thing because you really don't get to build those kinds of relationships. I have relationships with people that were, man, I can't pull those layers off. It's because they know me, they've watched my life, and they've been able to speak into my life. So it's really, really healthy for you to find a church home. Now, through all of this, you really have to know who you are and not just who you want to be. There's a big difference. Know who you are and not just who you want to be. So you can get caught up in trying to be the person that you know you have the potential to be, and then you neglect what it takes to actually be that person. You have to have something substantial. Remember, just think about the midget bed. Like, there's nothing wrong with a midget bed, but there's only so many people that can sleep on that midget bed, and there's only so much weight it can hold. So you want to make sure that it's something substantial. And the only way that you're going to have anything substantial to share with other people is if substantial starts with you. It really has to be you. And you know, Jesus is the center. Man, I mean, he is it. Like, that is where you find yourself. That is where you're going to find substance. Again, you know, I love speaking, but my life is not built on being a speaker. And those who know me well know that, because I don't get very much of an opportunity to do it, except for like real quick, brief times. But, you know, to have a speaking gift and a talent, and I'm not even saying I have it, because I don't think I'm a great communicator, but I do love Jesus, and I know what my purpose is, and it's to activate other people's potential. So I'm going to work on that. But what I really want is that I really want wisdom. I really want wisdom to sustain my life, and I want wisdom to sustain your life. That's why I'm speaking to this. And again, I don't want to rain on anybody's passion parade, because I am all about the passion. But you want to make sure that wisdom will sustain you where your potential takes you. Because you have gifts and abilities, and your potential will take you somewhere, but make sure you've got the wisdom behind it. I've actually relaxed a little bit about wondering when my dreams are going to come true, because I have a world vision. Like, my vision is so, so big. And to be honest with you, when I was on sabbatical this last month, I wondered a lot about, gosh, I'm 50, like, I don't know that I'm going to see it. And God kind of shifted some things in me. And my passion now is really more about building something substantial for others. So it's hard because I'm having to guide myself a little bit, that's okay. My passion is now more about building something substantial so that the pillows that I love and all those pretty things that I love will actually have a lasting place to be appreciated. Wouldn't that be a good thing? So I just want you guys to think about this. Proverbs 31. I've probably taken a really long time. Am I okay? I'm over, aren't I? I'm really sorry, I wasn't paying any attention. Proverbs 31 is a great example of like a woman who is full of wisdom. There's a lot of things that she does. Don't get caught up in what she's doing. What I want you to look at is the wisdom that she has and the things that she has built into her life, like a grateful attitude. She lives expansively. She's generous. She's wise in her stewardship. She's prosperous and she multiplies. She's perceptive about the product that she has and whether it's fruitful. She has something worthwhile to say. Her beauty outside is a reflection of what's outside is a reflection of what's on the inside, and she leaves her mark on other people. And she understands momentum, and she's respected and honored. And wow, I know that that is probably something we would all love to attain to, but it definitely is something that is built. So I just want to encourage you guys that wisdom is the thing that you want to go for. Build your life with wisdom. Those 4 things. I'd be happy, again, to talk with you or pray with you afterwards. And I guess I could be off the stage because I'm not even sure how long I took. But thank you so much for having me in my house.
Thank you. I hope you were blessed by Pastor Darlene Partin's presentation. This is an Inspirationally Speaking LLC production.